Wow, it's great to see you here. Welcome to this webinar. And I am doing this because I want you to appreciate the value that is inside the Awaken and Activate Your Leadership Potential. Because if you don't understand the value, then it is going to not be easy for you to sign up for something that you don't understand the value for. So I want you to just have a perspective on what are we going to be doing in the next 6 weeks. So one, it is a leadership program because one, I believe that everybody carries the seed of a leader in them. Whether we have embraced it or whether we have, we ran away from it, or whether we have never even embraced it or even thought that we could be carrying, a seed of a leader in us. But the good thing is that you have come to this point because there's something in you that is telling you that you have leadership qualities in you, or you have something that you can do to impact another person's life. You see, when we look at leadership as when we look at leadership as a big thing, like, the politicians do, maybe leading a big organization, then we can get scared. But the everyday small decisions we make already makes us leaders. So who is this that is before you, before we go into knowing how the program will be? So I'll introduce myself, and I am Shekinah Wema. I'll be your coach in this journey. And Shekinah Wema is a person who lives boldly and authentically, and I believe in these values deep inside of me, and I live them. It was not like that before. I was quite timid. I grew up, avoiding even to come up and, talk on my behalf. I never used that to have that boldness. I would just calm down, even when I knew that I knew what I was supposed to be doing. But with time, I realized, oh my God, there is a wealth of potential in me. And I reached out to it, and I was able to, tap and to start living authentically and boldly. I'm a mom with 3 children, and I'm married. And I love to work with leaders. My utmost passion is to raise a generation of leaders that are going to authentically and boldly take their leadership positions. That is my call. And I live by that day after day. So this program is actually just to awaken you to that reality. Because the first statement, if you have a pen and a paper, you should write down, is that I am a leader. I believe it and I live it. I will repeat again. I am a leader. I believe it and I live it. If you don't get anything in this webinar, please go with that, and it will transform your life already. Because once you start to believe that you are a leader, you will start to take small steps and responsibility for how you live your day-to-day life. So in this program, I have put in years of experience. I have worked in the corporate world for 13 years, and I've been in business for the longest time. I don't know how many years. The longest time even than my working years. And also I have been able to learn about leadership in many platforms. On my own initiative, I've been able to explore the leadership topic. And therefore, I delight myself as a certified leadership coach and a life transformational coach. So you're in good hands. Feel safe, feel okay in my hands. And we are going to journey together because coaching is not about me taking the steering wheel. It is you taking the steering wheel of your life. Then me, I will keep you accountable and help you to get the results that you want quickly and easily. So in the first module, we are going to be working on our foundation. Why is this important? You know that you cannot build a foundation without digging out some dirt out of it, removing the dirt and some soil from it, then putting the strongest of the stones at the foundation. Make sure that the rods, the metal rods, are firm in place, because whatever is in the foundation is what is going to determine what we will see as the end result and whether it will be stable and firm for generations. So we start from there. We start with a cleanup, because we cannot put new wine on old wineskin. So here we will be evaluating our lives and looking at how have we lived our lives up to this point. Have we been intentional and deliberate in creating the life that we have been living? The reality that you are in, what has brought you this far? So with that in mind, then we will be able to uproot what we need to uproot. We'll be able to start to build on a foundation that is firm, on a foundation that we want in this new journey that we are taking ourselves through. Then we will look at how do we set ourselves up for success. Because remember, we have to plan for the success that we want to see in our life. So how do we do it? How do we set ourselves now up from where we have been? Even if you have been doing well, I know you want to push yourself higher. If you have not been doing well, you want now to set a good foundation so that you are able to reach your goals. You are able to live that life that you have always wanted to live. So we will do that together. Then we will start to ask ourselves, what goals do we want to pursue? And goal setting can be a complicated task to do, especially if you have not done it before. But here we are going to explore what is the best framework for us to be able to come up with goals that we can be able to set, achieve, and when we are at it, have time to enjoy the process. And what habits can we install so that we ensure that the habits are in alignment with the goals that we have set for ourselves? And if I can speak about the framework we use in this 6 weeks coaching program, we use a framework that I call the R2 framework. The R2F framework. What does that mean? The first R stands for release. And that's what we are doing in the first module. We are releasing everything that is not serving us. We are letting go that old us. And we are starting to build on something that now we will call our own, and we'll call it new. So number 2, we go from, once we have released what we don't need, we start to reconnect with ourselves. We start to reconnect with the true us. We start to reconnect with that which we have always wished to, but we didn't know how to do it. Then the F stands for the flow. Then we start to flow now to the direction of which we have designed and created for ourselves. So it is an interesting kind of framework, and you will see the strategies that we are going to use in running the 6 weeks training program. It's a process, and we can't finish. So what we need to do is to start you off to make sure that you're on it. Then we can be able to push you and push ourselves to be able to get, even on our own, to run now quickly on our own. So in the second module, what are we going to be learning? We are going to learn about how do we design and create now the dream that we have, the leadership that we want to see, the you that you want to become in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. Who do you want to become? So from who you want to become, then we will start to work backwards so that we establish what do we need to do now to be able to become that person in the next 20 years. So we'll be ideally working on ourselves, working on what we want to see. We'll be designing who we intentionally and deliberately want to pursue. And in the process of doing that, what will we be doing? We will be unveiling that leadership potential that you have. We will be unlocking that which has been dormant in you. And so we will be doing this together. So we'll be having time to evaluate who is the real me. What do I believe in? What are my values? What is the most important thing in my life? What is my principle statement or value statement that I live by? That no matter what, this is what I can die for. Then from there, we start to ask ourselves, why was I created? What is my purpose? Why do I wake up every day? And so we'll start to discover our purpose. Because remember, the purpose is already in you. It is not without you. It's already in you. And that purpose, the day you discover it, it will be the happiest day of your life. And I promise you in this program, if you put in the work, you will be able to know what is your purpose. And this determines what makes you wake up early in the morning, what gets you out of bed. What impact do you want to see in your world? So what is that thing that you can do even for 20 years, every day of your life, and you'll never get bored? Instead, you will enjoy, be passionate, be energetic about it. So this is one of the most important and fundamental principles of life. If you do not know, then you live a meaningless life. Or you chase after things, then you ask after you have gotten the things, you start asking yourself, and so what is life? So I'll be privileged to take you through that process of identifying, discovering, unveiling that purpose that you carry, because you're not here by accident. Write that down if you can. I am not here by accident. Wow. Then from there, we are going to check. Now that we have known how we want to live our life, we have designed something, we have created something, then we have known our purpose. Then how do we implement? How do we get things done? How do we get things done? And we get things done by doing deep work, because we have to make sure that we are becoming experts in the field that we have chosen to take, in that design that you have chosen. We have to become experts. So we must involve ourselves in deep work. And then we are going to look at the power of one thing, so that we are able to know, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is what I'm going to do for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, for the next 5 years. Then we are going, then module number 3, we are going to now start to simplify that which we have. We are going to simplify that which we have created. We are going to simplify that which we have created, and we are going also to amplify it. So, how are we going to simplify? We are going to look at what we are creating and ask ourselves, what is the simplest form that I can look at this dream so that I may be able to take bold steps to be able to start to implement? Because if you see something as so big and complex, sometimes our brain is not able to take it very well. So what it does, we start feeling it's too much for us to be able to carry. So we start to feel burnt out. We start to feel overwhelmed. We start to feel like I cannot make it. So that's where we are going to simplify. Then we are going to amplify it so that in its simplicity, it's going to be broadcasted very far. And we are going to do this by first realizing, and I want you to write down, that your voice matters. Your voice matters. So we are going to raise that voice. Why? Because we need to cut through the noise. We need to be known as the experts in our field. We need to position ourselves and cut off the noise. We need to place ourselves at the point of advantage. And we can only do this by amplifying ourselves, amplifying our messages. Because remember, you are the main actor in this platform of life. There is nobody who can do you. So you're the only one who knows what message you carry, how you want it to go, and who you want to impact. So that is very important. Then, from there, we will go now to flow to number 4. And at number 4, we'll start to look at how do we, what is the difference between nature and nurture. Why? Because there are some things that we have been doing that have just come because of the conditioning that we have been conditioned from when we were young. So we didn't have a choice to choose what we wanted to believe in most of the time. So it was inculcated in us through our upbringing, through the education system, through our environment. So we'll start to watch out on these patterns and start to evaluate and, scrutinize them and ask ourselves, does this belief, does this pattern, does this thing that I believe about money, about myself, about leadership, is it really true? Is it going to make me to become who I want to become? Is it going to limit my progress? Is it going to stagnate me? Or is it going to work for me? Then once we evaluate, we will do away with what is not going to serve us, and then we start to build new set of patterns, new set of beliefs, new set kind of values, so that we are able to accomplish that which we have envisioned when we were designing and creating. So there, we are taking responsibility of our lives. Telling ourselves, it doesn't matter where I came from. It doesn't matter what happened to me. It doesn't matter what victim I've become. But I choose to take the driver's seat. And I choose to do this life the way I want to do it. In my own terms, not negotiating with anybody, but taking the bull by its horn. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? When I learned this secret, my life changed. It turned around. I realized that I can become whoever I choose to become. And I believe most of you will get your aha moments at this point in time. So this is going to help us now to be able to choose our journey will be able to look at things in different perspective and in our own lenses without interference from anybody else. Then now we will flow now to what we call ebb and flow. And what is ebb and flow? I want you to look, if you have been to the beach, if you've been, where there are waters, you will realize that at a certain time, the water flows back and retreats. And when this happens, when the water flows back and retreats, what happens is that it's a period, it's a season in life where you feel that things are not happening the way they should. And you're feeling that this is not where your life should be. And you're feeling there's no flow of, the money that you wanted. There's no flow of your dream is not moving the way you wanted it to feel. You feel like there are roadblocks. But imagine it is life. It is the process of life. And we have to accept that this will happen. But how do we prepare ourselves? How do we put ourselves at a place of trust? Trusting that everything is going to be okay. That this situation, this season is not going to swallow us. How are we going to put ourselves at the point of advantage so that this situation is a reflection moment? This situation is a moment to put ourselves, sometimes God gives us these opportunities so that we may reflect on our journey, so that we may know, is it exactly what I envisioned this to be? Is it what I want to continue doing? Is it where I want to put my energy into? Then after that, the flow is easy to deal with because it's where we are, where we enjoy. The money is coming, we are growing, we are learning, we are doing many things. But, our lives will not always flow all the time. It's what we want. But we will not acquire growth and will not go to the next level if our life is all about flow in our lives. We need these challenges, humongous challenges that will not swallow us but make us grow, push us from our comfort zone, and help us to become the persons we were meant to become. What I've realized, great leaders have gone through stuff. And even me seated here, I can assure you I've gone through hard stuff. But in that place of hardness, that's where my oil was pressed. That's where the olives get their oil from. But when we are not pressed, when we are not crushed, then the anointing in us for the marketplace will not come forth, will not flow. So we need these phases in our lives so that we may transform and become the best versions of ourselves. So we will look at that, and I know we will have a wonderful time enjoying that moment and seeing how do we navigate this season of life. Then we will go to the last module, which I've called Live and Let Live. Live and let live. And that's so exciting because now everything we have created a good foundation. We have created what we want to see to design of our life. We have come up with goals. We now know our personal value statement. We now know even how to nurture it. We know how to simplify, to amplify our voice. We know how to cut the voices in the world. We know now what to do when we are flowing. We know what to do when the seasons of life hit on us. And now we should know, how do we live and let it live? So that this, becomes your lifestyle. So that this dream is not cut short. So we have to be aware that every 24 hours in a day, we have been given as a gift. So how do we inculcate the design that we have created to ensure that we have scheduled every single second of our lives so that our lives, we may get more value from the time that we have? And great leaders manage their time properly. So we are going to look at time management. How do we ensure that our goals are, scheduled to the T so that we avoid distraction, so that we are not running with other people's dream, and then our dream is not being worked on. So we are going to look at that. How do we schedule? How do we prioritize? How do we make sure that whatever we have designed is of utmost importance to our lives, and we are fulfilling it every day, a step at a time, a step at a time, until we become. And how are we going to ensure that we are also enjoying that process of becoming? Because it's very important for us to enjoy the process. Then from there, we will ask ourselves, what is our game plan now that we have designed everything? What's our game plan now? What is our take home, a powerful take home from this online course for 6 weeks? What will you take home with? What will be the plan? What will be the blueprint? What is the strategy that you're going to use? And how are you going to roll it? Such that if even somebody else was given and they were told it is you, they can run with it. That's how clear I want it to be when you're doing it. And don't worry about it, because we'll have gone through all these stages. It will be very easy for you to make the plan. Then the last thing, how are we going to celebrate ourselves? Because we have to plan to celebrate ourselves. And we'll not celebrate ourselves when we become. In 25 years, that's when we throw a party to ourselves. No, 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 no. We are going to plan that into our plans, into our schedules, even in the short term. How are we going to celebrate the small wins? How are we going to plan to celebrate the big wins in our lives? How are we going to plan that we are always celebrating even that small thing that we have, we have been able to break through? And even now, we should have already planned on how we should celebrate, even coming to the end of the module. And I know we will do that because I have scheduled that, and I know it's very important. So how are we going to celebrate ourselves? We must put that in our plan, because life is for the living. The dead never celebrate. So life is for the living. So it is very, very important for you to schedule time. And therefore, that is how our course will run. And as you can, you feel the energy. I feel so energetic. I feel like, oh, let's start today, So I'm waiting for you. And I hope, even if you don't make it to the class, you have carried home something that you can be able to start working on, and it will change your life. And congratulations to those who are going to click the link below and register for the class. Why? Because I promise you that you will see a transformation. You will not go to the third week without seeing changes in your life, massive changes. Why? I know that I am blessed. My hands are blessed to cause transformations in the life of people. And because of that, that's where I draw my energy, my empowerment. That's why I'm excited even doing this, because I know it's my call and there must be results. Nothing will be put in my hand that dies, but it must grow, it must multiply, and you are among them. So if you are one of them and you feel that you want to awaken that leadership potential that has been in you dormant, we activate it, you embrace it, you embody it, and you live it, then this is your program. This is one of the best programs that you will come across. I promise you. It is made from the soul, from the heart. I'm pouring myself to you. So I'll be glad to see all of you. If you have made it to the end of this webinar, then I am so sure that you are interested and you're going to be in class together with me. So what are the next steps that I expect from you? It's you click that registration link, give us your details, then I will get back to you so that we establish, are we a good fit working together? Because you see, in coaching, we have to be good fit. If we are not, you still go away with some nuggets that you have picked from this class. But if we are good fit, and I believe most of you will be, then we will continue with the journey, and then I'll be able to give you the next steps. But This program starts on 25th of February, the Friday, and we start straight up at 8 p.m. So that will be an introduction. It will be introducing you to the class, and I will be so happy to usher you into this awesome journey of knowing the real you, of unveiling the leader in you, of awakening and activating your leadership potential. It will be my joy, because I know after this, you are also going to raise your own generation of leaders that are authentic, that are bold, that are thriving, that are going to take this market by storm. So this is my promise to you, that whatever I have given you in this program is just a tip of the iceberg. We have more and more. It's loaded, powerful, and it's coming to you with a lot of energy from me. So see you there, and I'll be grateful to walk with you this journey. Thank you. Let's meet in class.